Blue Bloods, one of the biggest and longest running dramas on CBS, is finally coming back, but in a very personal way. When the show returns, it will arrive with another case of a personal life getting intertwined with work life. Yeah, it's definitely not the first time, and it probably won't be the last, but it's still great to see Blue Bloods coming back. But what's going on this time around? Is another relationship in turmoil? Or someone dying of a mysterious illness? Well, things are a little bit different. So, let's get into what is actually happening on Blue Bloods. This time around, Erin Reagan, who is played by Bridget Moynihan, as well as Eddie Janko, played by Vanessa Ray, are going to struggle to put their differences aside during a new major investigation. Blue Bloods itself follows the careers and personal lives of Frank Reagan and his 3 adult children. Reagan is played by the ever-lovable and insanely talented Tom Selleck, and he does a good job in every scene he's in. I mean, he carried the show for years, and is probably why people are still watching to this day. He's like Gibbs from NCIS. He's just the reason you tune in each and every week. But, just like Gibbs, he's actually been taking a back seat recently, as the other characters have become much more important than him. Erin has been working her way up to become the next district attorney, whilst Jamie Reagan was recently promoted to field intelligence sergeant earlier on in the season. This might sound pretty good for an outside viewer, but to those who are deeply invested in the series, it actually caused a huge conflict between the characters. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Danny Reagan is a detective embarking on a new romance with Laura Acosta. There truly is so much going on in the series, but it doesn't end there. With this trio being wrapped up in their new law enforcement work, fans are now going to see a very rare conflict between Erin and Jamie's wife, Eddie. In fact, we actually got a sneak peek of this conflict with the latest episode 13 teaser trailer. CBS clearly wanted the fans to see this before the episode came out, as the entire teaser trailer is based around this upcoming conflict. During this clip, Erin is sitting at her desk working when Anthony Abedmarco walks into the office with Eddie by his side. He says, "Hey, detectives were swamped, so I helped re-interview a bunch of women in the office." But before Anthony could finish his sentence, Erin turns straight to Eddie and asks, "What are you doing here?" God, this conflict is intense already, and it hasn't even really started yet. This new episode is looking insane. Eddie is taken aback by the brash tone coming from Erin and responds by saying that she offered to help. Erin hits back with, "I think you've helped enough." "Well, I just feel strongly that this woman is telling the truth," Eddie added. However, Erin argued, "Then why even bother investigating if you feel so strongly she's innocent?" Listening to her gut feeling, Eddie stated, "There is something about this case." But Erin chimed, "With you, there's always something about every case, every time. You've overstepped on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin." As Eddie pleaded, "Erin, if you just take a look at..." The promising DA interrupted, "I think you should go back to patrol, Eddie. I've got this."
And what are you doing here?
I offered to help.
I think you've helped enough.
Well, I just feel strongly that this woman is telling the truth.
Yeah, well then why even bother investigating if you feel so strongly she's innocent?
There is something about this case.
With you, there's always something about every case, every time. You overstepped on so many levels, I don't even know where to begin.
Erin, if you just take a look at
I think you should go back to patrol, Eddie. I've got this.
Erin really seems to have so much on her plate this season, and I mean, you really can't blame her for getting agitated. She has her campaign for district attorney still underway, so she doesn't really need anyone else mounting tasks towards her. On top of all this, Erin is dealing with her ex-husband Jack's return, so her run as district attorney, her ex-husband coming back, as well as Eddie being annoying must have just gotten to her. That's probably why all of this conflict has popped up. Am I right, guys? We did kind of see her ex-husband coming back from a mile away, as it was teased all the way back in September. A photo was placed in an episode with them enjoying an arcade game together. This could have just been a random photo, but it all now makes so much sense. This conflict has been in the works for a while now. It just looks like the writers were trying to naturally set up a breaking point for Erin. Erin really isn't having a good time, is she? But things are actually about to get way worse for everyone everyone. Even more, conflict was teased recently on the show, as the new synopsis was revealed for the upcoming episode. The synopsis reads, Danny and Baez race against the clock to catch a serial killer targeting young women. Aaron and Eddie clash when Eddie intervenes in a murder case, and Aaron's personal life. Frank must decide how to discipline his grandson. God, this season is really shaping up to be a huge one, right guys? I mean, we already knew it was going to be crazy, but damn, this is insane. The conflict has already started, and we are truly on the edge of our seats waiting for more. Blue Bloods is keeping our attention, and we love it. Despite all of the crazy drama going on in Blue Bloods right now, the fan base has actually been asking for a character to have even more scenes. After a long hiatus that has led into this conflict, fans finally got to see Joe come back into the series and make a touching reunion with Frank Reagan. But this scene was sadly short-lived, and fans aren't exactly happy about it. A small group of fans have now taken to social media to demand more of this character, as they love what he brings to the show. I mean, can you blame them? He's absolutely fantastic and brings so much life to the series. Joe was introduced back in season 10 as the estranged son of Frank's deceased son, Joseph Reagan. This was a huge moment for the series, and it really proved to the fans that even 10 seasons in, the series can still have some fantastic storylines. Despite this being a huge shock for fans, fans loved the character because of the way he was introduced and his relationship that grew with his grandfather. Although viewers were glad to see his return, Joe's new comeback came as a result of a heartbreaking circumstance. Joseph's gravesite had been vandalized, and Joe had gone to try and fix it. Joe and Frank had clashed on how to investigate the vandalism, as Joe was ready to go full steam ahead, whilst Frank insisted that he would take time to look into it. This was a truly heart-wrenching story, and this, combined with the recent conflict with Eddie and Aaron, just shows how amazing this series is even this far in. Taking to Twitter, one fan wrote that they need to see more of Joe, as this episode proved that he needs more time to bond with his family. Another tweeter hoped we get more of Joe, whilst one finally spoke about how they love seeing Frank act as a grandpa. We've really loved this storyline as well, and bringing him back in the latter half of season 13 might create a nice balance with the ongoing conflict surrounding Aaron and the others. We're definitely excited to see what goes down with Aaron on her ongoing storyline, but Joe is also someone we really care about as a fan base. Either way though, season 13 is really shaping up to be phenomenal, and we absolutely cannot wait for more. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts on today's video, as well as what we discussed about season 13's conflicts and storylines. We hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, no, trust me. It's really hard to offend me.
Hey, whoa! Hey!
Especially with the DNA. It's exactly the same. So how is a jury supposed to decide which one did it?